From WNDU-TV, live, local, late breaking, this is 16 News Now at 11.
Thank you for joining us at 11. I'm Melissa Stevens. We start with the latest on the Delphi murders trial. Jury selection is now complete. So what are the next steps? Well, a hearing will be held tomorrow on the prosecution's motion to block the composite sketches used in the investigation. The jury will also be sworn in and sequestered for the rest of the trial, monitored by bailiffs, and will not be able to use their phones or watch news broadcasts. Opening statements by the prosecutor and defense team are scheduled to take place on Friday, with the trial to last a month. Now, if convicted, Allen could face up to 130 years in prison. Prosecutors are not seeking the death penalty. Matt?
I'll start off first alert weather day for our Thursday morning, something that we first alerted you to last week for your Thursday morning. This right here. Now, freeze warnings issued all across the area. This should bring about the official end to the growing season. And now, if you want to continue your growing season, you need to protect those plants tonight. Temperatures right now still hovering around 38, 39 degrees for most areas, but on our way to the lower 30s near freezing. Mostly clear skies in and across the area as well. You may have noticed the bright Hunter moon this evening. If you were like Jack earlier today trying to find the comet A3, the moon would have been your worst enemy in this kind of situation. It's dim in general, and then you factor in that moon, and it's even dimmer. For that morning drive, 5 a.m. 34 degrees, 32 degrees by 6 a.m., 30 degrees by 7 a.m., hovering around 30 degrees for a hard freeze. Temperatures will warm up after they fall down. Details coming up in your First Alert 10-day forecast on your First Alert weather day.
Matt, thank you. Now to an update from the South Bend Police Department on your hurricane relief donations sent to the Carolinas. Officers in North Carolina are in Black Mountain and Swannanoa handing out the supplies you've donated for those impacted by Hurricane Helene. Areas in the region are still devastated by the flooding as first responders and volunteers continue to repair the communities there. And if you would still like to donate to hurricane relief for Helene or Milton, you can actually scan the QR code on your screen right now. We also have this information on our website. And of course, stick with us on air and online for any updates on relief efforts. Well, we are just 20 days away from Election Day, and campaign efforts are in full swing, including in the state of Michigan. Our Natasha Casal was in St. Joseph earlier today after both Michigan and Wisconsin governors made a pit stop for some coffee. Hey, Natasha.
Hey, Melissa, that's right. Forte Coffee was packed with Democratic voters, all with the anticipation to talk to Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers. Wednesday afternoon, voters came together for a coffee and chat with Governor Whitmer and Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers at Forte Coffee. The two shaking hands at the popular local coffee shop. Governor Whitmer ordered what she called Michigan cookies.
I'd like to ask her about the different things that are going on. My concerns here in Michigan are gun control, climate is an issue, and since we have the Great Lakes and everything, and voter registration and safety.
It's all part of their Blue Wall bus tour that kicked off on Monday as they are visiting key battleground and swing states. St. Joe, Michigan was their first stop on their Michigan tour.
Well, we know that Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania are going to have an outsized voice in this upcoming election. We are going to decide the fate of this election. It's really important that Michigan voters know you can cast your vote right now, absentee. You can vote in person starting on the 26th. It is crucial that we make our voices heard.
It's a great visit here, and there's so much similarity between Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Michigan. Obviously, we're different. We all say our states are beautiful and better than the others, but at the end of the day, it is around just reaching out to people, making sure that they understand the issues of the campaign, and help them decide to do the right thing. And to do the right thing is to get behind Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They're the ones that are going to make a difference in the lives of people.
The next stop of the Blue Wall's bus tour is Kalamazoo. Meanwhile, former President Trump will be in Detroit on Friday.
All right, Natasha, thank you. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris participated in her first interview with Fox News' Bret Baier. The vice president stated that if elected, her presidency would not be a continuation, that is, of Biden's. And Harris noted that she represents a new generation of leadership.
My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes in to office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
Harris has been criticizing Trump for backing out of a 60 Minutes interview and refusing to debate her again. But on the other side of things now, Elon Musk has become a Republican mega donor after giving millions to former President Donald Trump's campaign. In the span of 3 months, Musk gave around $75 million to his pro-Donald Trump spending group, America PAC, which is focused on turning out voters in closely contested states that could decide the election, spent around $72 million of that in July through September period. Musk established America PAC in May to support Trump's campaign to return to the White House. The Tesla and SpaceX CEO is the world's wealthiest person with a net worth of $241 billion. That's according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Well, Michigan is a critical battleground state every election year. We know this, right? But particularly this one. It's also important when it comes to the House. The state has 13 congressional districts. And tonight, our team is focusing on District 5, which includes Berrien, Cass, and St. Joseph counties and stretches several miles all the way to Monroe County. It's about 4.5 hours end to end. Now, the man representing this district is Republican Tim Walberg. You can see him right here. He's in his 8th term. Josh Short talked to him earlier today, and he's got some competition. Mark Peterson spoke with his opponents, Jim Bronke from the Green Party and Libby Urban from the Democratic Party.
There are probably some people right now watching this who've never seen you, who've never seen your face, who are just hearing your name for the first time. What's your message to them?
Well, I'm saying it's kind of like potato chips. The more you have of me, the better you like. I hope it's that way. I don't think there are many people in the new part of my district that have not heard of me, heard my name, or even seen my face in one way or another. We've attempted aggressively to integrate ourselves in this community. We've traveled miles upon miles, a lot of windshield time, moving across this district, the complete southern border in the 10 counties, or most of 10 counties that we represent. But if we haven't met yet, you haven't had that opportunity, I hope you come to one of our town hall meetings in a community near you, because it's going to happen as soon as we get out of the blackout phase here during campaigns.
I was a 31-year maintenance electrician at Iron-Tech and Iron Coat. I worked on a galvanizing line where we made galvanized steel for the automotive industry. I was a member of the United Steelworkers my entire time I worked there. And for my last 15 years, I was an elected official. They elected me as vice president for one term, which is very rare to find a female that high in the executive board for steelworkers. And for 4 terms in a row, I was elected to our negotiating committee. I was the only female elected to our negotiating committee, where I helped negotiate 4 contracts during that time.
You have to be a lifelong student of studying our problems in our country. The problems that we face in the Middle East with Israel and the Palestinians, the problems that we face with climate change, and the problems that we face with our medical industry. And people are most receptive when I talk to them about discussing our medical industry, which is really coming up short for the American people.
And of course, our team will be covering this race through election night right here on WNDU and on our website. Well, tonight, the Institute for Latino Studies and the Library of America hosted the Letras Latinas 20th anniversary event at Notre Dame. It was an event of poetry and conversation with featured poet Roberto Gonzalez, who is the editor of the just-released Latino poetry speaking book. Now, the book traces Latino poetry from America from 16th century to present day.
People don't understand how vast our history is and how much we have written about not only ourselves, but about our experiences in this country.
Meanwhile, Richard Blanco, a presidential inaugural poet for President Obama and National Humanitarian Medal recipient, also recited his poetry at tonight's event. Well, earlier this week in Michigan, Buchanan City Commissioners acted on several matters, including the expansion of the downtown social district there. According to our partners at the Herald Palladium, the plan was first approved more than 3 years ago. After 2020, state law allowed people to drink alcohol in shared common areas. areas. Now, the social district now includes the former Moose Lodge at Redbud Trail and Front Street, plus more properties on Days Avenue and Main Street. Officials say the expansion will allow the city to attract more development. New developments out of Elkhart. Some exciting news here. We're just over a week away from the grand opening of the Chick-fil-A there. Our team got a look at the new location on Cassopolis Street just north of downtown. The restaurant is going in at the former site of Da Vinci's Pizza. Chick-fil-A already has extra parking spaces ready to go, and the drive-through lines are also ready. The grand opening is in just 9 days, scheduled for Thursday, October 24th. Now to some news from our WNDU family. WNDU has won 4 Spectrum Awards at this year's Indiana Broadcast Association banquet. This is the second straight year we've won Station of the Year. Take a look at these awards here. Our team is the recipient of Best TV Local Community Impact, Best TV General News Story, Best TV Weather Coverage, and the biggest prize of all, Indiana TV Station of the Year. So we want to thank all of our viewers for your support over the years. Well, college basketball fans, we have some exciting news for you. WNDU-TV is bringing Missouri Valley Conference basketball to your airwaves. You can catch the MVC on WNDU Channel 16.3. The MVC schedule will include live regular season games and MVC tournament coverage through the quarterfinals. The 2024-25 season opens December 3rd when Evansville takes on Murray State at 8 p.m. Well, coming up on 16 News Now at 11, former One Direction member Liam Payne passes away. What we know about his death, plus a glimpse of the new spacesuit that will be used for NASA's mission to the moon. We'll give you that look coming up. Stay with us.
From WNDU-TV, live, local, late breaking. This is 16 News Now at 11.
That is going to mean stormy.
Payne has passed away. The former member of One Direction fell from the 3rd floor of a hotel in Argentina. That's according to local police there. Payne was just 31 years old. New developments. The Supreme Court will allow the Biden administration to enforce its latest attempts to curb carbon emissions at coal and gas-fired power plants that contribute to climate change. Now, the High Court rejected emergency requests brought by Republican states led by industry groups seeking to block the regulation. Now, under the proposed rule, the EPA wants to require carbon capture. That's a technique that uses solvents to remove carbon dioxide from a power plant's emissions. The case will now continue before the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit. And after that court rules, the issue could come before the justices once again. Well, Italian luxury group Prada and Axiom Space unveiled the design of a spacesuit that will be used for NASA's mission to the moon. So let's take a look at this. The new suit was showcased at the International Astronautical Congress in Milan. The spacesuits were made to withstand extreme temperatures, of course, at the lunar South Pole and endure the coldest temperatures in the permanently shadowed regions for at least 2 hours. And plus, astronauts will be able to perform spacewalks for at least 8 hours. Pretty cool stuff there, Matt, huh?
I think so, yeah. One of the important things to keep in mind when they are doing a spacewalk, radiation and just the temperature. You don't realize how cold space is. Tomorrow morning isn't going to be as cold as space, but it may take you by surprise. That's why we are first alerting you to a first alert weather day for your Thursday morning. We'll talk more about those details and how we're going to warm up this weekend. Details just after the break.
Gardening season, I don't think you really have a choice after tonight, right? Because the first freeze of the season probably getting underway as we speak, right, Matt? But you still have a few weeks to extend the life of your potted plants or vines with a makeshift greenhouse. Now, other plants, yeah, they're going to be gone this season, right? But you can use the lasagna method to layer the soil and make sure it's healthy for the next season. Now is also a good time to make sure bulbs are planted.
And we're going to be getting ready to put our gardens to bed. But before we do that, we want to put our fall bulbs in, preparing for next season. So garlic is a really popular one, and when you harvest it or when you buy it from the plant store, it'll look like this.
It's also a good time to get those Halloween decorations out. You know, I don't know though, Matt, if you already waited this long, maybe wait till the weekend, because it's going to be nice this weekend.
Yeah, the weekend if you want to set up decorations. Now, I'm part of the Bring It In, Put It Out club, where I look at the forecast and I bring those plants in and then I put them back out. Until we get to the point, which I think 10 days from now, we'll get to the point where I'm going to have to bring them in and they are going to stay in. But as Melissa said, once we get through this first alert weather day early Thursday morning because of the cold air, the freezing temperatures, this weekend, it should be pretty nice, whether it's putting up decorations, maybe doing some raking, some fall activities. A great weekend for it. But of course, we have to get through your first alert weather day. So how low will it go? Lower 30s tonight. And looking at the thermometer right over here, we're at 37 degrees at the station. So at 11, so that would put us around 31 degrees at the station. As you go into tomorrow morning, it would officially be our first freeze of the season and bring about the end of the growing season. But a quick bounce back to warmer weather. Mid 60s by Friday. That's around average. And then Saturday and Sunday, I've got the lower 70s. So warmer than average and then some this weekend. And there it is, that weekend forecast. We've been first alerting you to those great conditions all week long. Also been first alerting you to this right here too. Evening forecast rest of the night tonight. Again, cooling down all the way down to freezing. Anticipate 28 to 32 degrees, that 4-degree range across Michiana. And everybody is under a freeze warning for tonight. What that means is temperatures expected to hit 32 degrees and possibly drop below 32 degrees for an extended period of time. I heard your question. What's an extended period of time? About 2 hours. Thanks for asking. As for that radar, again, nothing out there in terms of rain cloud cover that we had last night that kept part of the areas warm. That is now gone. Clear skies this evening. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a lot about Comet A3. You may have seen, just like the Northern Lights, may have seen a lot of pictures on your social media feed. This is another one of those situations where your camera might be better than the naked eye at possibly spotting this comet. Again, we'll talk about that Thursday and Friday night. For your future track into tomorrow morning, we got temperatures in the upper 20s and the lower 30s. 29 in Knox, 32 in Plymouth, 33 in Rochester, and 32 degrees in Warsaw with clear skies. And that's where we stay, clear skies, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So every day, the atmosphere that's right overhead is going to warm up just a little bit more all the way through the weekend. Lower 40s by 10 o'clock in the morning. On Thursday, Friday should be pretty comfortable, especially in the morning and the afternoon, as there isn't going to be a 30-degree difference between the morning and the afternoon. There's Thursday at 5 p.m., 62 in Plymouth, 62 in Warsaw, 60 degrees in Goshen. Into Friday morning, again, tomorrow, easily the coldest morning for the rest of the week. Friday morning, still in the upper 30s and the lower 40s. Just not nearly as cold as the lower 30s and the upper 20s. But again, we're starting at around 40 degrees, which makes it pretty easy to get back up into around 68 to 70 degrees for Friday afternoon. Plenty of sunshine. Should feel pretty comfortable in the direct sunlight with that dry air in place. 71 degrees on Saturday, 73 on Sunday. Average high this time of year is about 62 degrees. Overnight lows typically average about 42 degrees. Guys?
All right, Jackson's with us. What's coming up in sports?
Well, we're talking Notre Dame football. They have a game this weekend against Georgia Tech, and while their offense is looking a lot better, they're passing the ball a lot better. We'll hear from the offensive coordinator, Mike Denbrock, and why that is.
All right, stay with us.
Welcome.
In action this week as they go on the road to play Georgia Tech, as the Irish have won 4 straight games since that upset loss to NIU back in September. And well, a big reason for that has been the improvement in their passing game with quarterback Riley Leonard. In the past 3 games, Leonard has progressively gotten better throwing the football, with his first passing touchdown of the season coming against Miami of Ohio, then 2 against Louisville, before finally throwing 3 this past weekend. He's now at 6 scores and nearly 1,000 yards passing this season, and he hasn't thrown an interception since that upset against the Huskies where he threw 2. Yesterday, offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock talked about the steps that Leonard and this offense has taken as a whole.
I think people underestimate how much him missing 15 practices in the spring really had an impact on kind of how we started the season. And, I think about, we're playing Georgia Tech this week, and I think back all the way to week 1 and even in fall camp, and the comparison to where I feel like we're headed and where we were at that time. And, I see a lot of positive direction in the movement that this whole offensive unit's doing.
And to get ready for the matchup this weekend, make sure to tune into 16 News Now Game Day on Saturday morning. Join myself and 16 Sports reporter Sabrina Hoover bright and early at 9 a.m. as we break down this matchup for an hour and then take a look at what Notre Dame needs to do to get a win in Atlanta. Plus, we want to hear from you for the show. With the Irish playing in an NFL stadium in Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz on Saturday, which NFL stadium do you want to see them play in next? How about going back to Soldier Field in Chicago, home of the Bears, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy, Ford Field in Detroit, Lambeau Field in Green Bay, or how about something else completely? Cast your votes now on WNDU.com and tune in to Game Day Saturday morning to check out the final results. And now let's go over to some basketball. The WNBA season is almost done with the finals going on right now, but Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were eliminated a couple weeks ago from the playoffs, but she's still making records with accolades for her rookie season. As today it was announced that Clark was named to the All-WNBA first team. She's the first rookie to be named to the first team since Candace Parker achieved the feat way back in 2008. She was the league's Rookie of the Year and earned 52 first-team votes. She's one of just 5 rookies to ever be named to the WNBA All-First Team, as she led the league with 8.4 assists per game and made three-pointers with 122 threes this season. A couple weeks ago, she had her exit interview where she reflected on her historic rookie year.
What I think for myself is just, go back and really reflect on the year that you had and all the amazing moments. But I think, just as a point guard and as a leader, there's a lot of areas that I can continue to improve. And, I'm a competitor and somebody that loves to work. So it won't be hard for me to want to get in the gym and to get even better and, get better for my teammates.
Always trying to improve there. Now to the NBA, where the regular season gets going next Tuesday. And right now there's some preseason games, including with the Chicago Bulls, who took on the Minnesota Timberwolves tonight. And it was a special game as Lonzo Ball took the court for the first time in over 2 years. Ball played for 15 minutes, putting up 10 points on 4 of 6 shooting, including 2 of 4 from three-point land in the 125-123 win, while also getting an assist and a rebound. Ball had last played in a game on January 14th, 2022. Since then, he's had 3 arthroscopic knee surgeries, including a rare double cartilage transplant back in March of 2023. Overall, just a huge comeback for a player that's still only 26. I mean, wow. What were you doing back in January 2022? I mean, that's the last time he was on the court.
Not having all those surgeries, that's for sure.
I was going to say, that's a really long comeback.
Yeah.
Really cool to see him back.
Well, good for him. That's great. Well, Matt, we'll have a final look at the forecast in a moment, but first, tonight's lottery numbers.
One, two. I'm just too good. Just heard the music. I was like, are we done? Are we out? Yeah, first our weather day for freezing conditions Thursday morning. Just make sure you double check what's going on tomorrow morning because the afternoon's going to be warm.
Okay. Beautiful shot. Good night, everyone.